Hey, this is Crypto Ice. Today I want to talk about something that I do not hear getting talked about enough amongst the crypto community. A good friend, fellow YouTuber Jerry Hall introduced me to a man named Jeff Booth, who is a technology business CEO guy that wrote this book called The Price of Tomorrow. I highly recommend this. I'm basically going to give you like a short version book report of this because I've been, saying on my YouTube channel for months about inflation. And I think most of us in general know what inflation is. I'm just going to break it down because I did a Twitter poll recently and said, what do you guys think is going to come first? Hyperinflation, deflation, or I have no idea what these terms mean. We had 16% just say, I have no idea what these terms mean. So I think we need to hear more of this. We had 56% say hyperinflation first and 28% deflation. Now, let's start with inflation. Okay, so inflation, just in a basic terms, if you got more money in circulation than you do have goods and services, then those goods and services are scarce, right? So when there's scarcity, the prices go up, right? So you go to the grocery store and your eggs all of a sudden went from a few dollars to like $10. Okay. So in deflation, it's the opposite. Your US dollars actually become more valuable and goods and services become more abundant. So the more abundant something becomes, the more the prices go down. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing. This is what the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, tries to tell us, and I'm not buying it. He tries to tell us how great inflation is, and I'm not going to lie that it's given us a good quality of life for several decades, but it's about to come to an end. We are entering a deflationary world, and most of the world does not even know it because technology is a force so massive, so powerful, that nothing can stop it. And that it really is the premise of Jeff Booth's book. And he would know. In my opinion, he has the experience of running multi-million tech companies. And he says, hey, why would I implement technology into my business? Is it to have more expenses? Is it to have more labor? No, things become more efficient. He needs less labor, cheaper costs, right? So the prices go down for his overhead for his business. So let me get back to this, okay? So we talked about what inflation is. Deflation is when US dollars become more valuable and the prices go down because there's more abundance. I'll give you one real example. Now, this might date me a little bit, but in middle school, I had a photography class where you actually had to take the pictures and not be able to see what they look like. So and then you go to a dark room and develop the pictures, right? Then you go to somewhere like Walmart and have them develop them for like 5 days, and then you go and pick them up and pay for them. And then when you look at the pictures, you're like, oh shoot, I don't like that one. I wish I would have taken another one of those. So the point is, it was a very laborious process, right? And with capitalism, that is the point. The products become better and better for a better price. So it's deflationary, right? Because now pictures are free. Pictures are abundant. You don't even have to wait. You can get them on your phone. And because they're so abundant and on your phone, they're essentially free. So there's one clear example of the deflationary effects of technology. And I'm just going to roll through like 5 or 6, okay, that he mentions in his book. One is Google. Information. Used to be, you'd have to pay money for information. Now you can pretty much get it for free because it's so abundant. There's so much information on Google that you can go to the 54th page and still get more information. You probably won't ever go to the 54th page, but it's available, right? And that's what Jeff really makes a great point of all these things. I can't do Jeff justice. I just want to let you know, in the description below, I have a video of him interviewing with Robert Kiyosaki. Amazing interview. I love Robert. And I have thepriceoftomorrow.com, his website, in the description below. If you go to the podcast section, I would recommend just watching a few of his podcasts, because repetition is the key to internalizing this stuff. I've probably watched these videos 2 or 3 times just to be able to break it down. So, having said that, okay, we talked about Google. What about Amazon? Well, Walmart, which is a powerhouse in itself, but Walmart can only sell things that are on the shelf, right? The difference between Walmart and Amazon is Walmart is like a legacy supplier, and Amazon is a tech disruptor because of technology. They can have almost a limitless supply of products. They're not limited to things that they have to put on the shelf. Okay, so you see, that's how Amazon is able to get prices cheaper and cheaper than Walmart, which actually in its own place has done the same thing earlier. So there you go. You got Amazon, you got Google. Let's talk about YouTube. You know, you get a cable package, you get to watch like 30 things, and you pay for it each month. You go to YouTube, you get it for free because it's abundant. Again, where things are abundant, the prices come down. Now, let's talk about Airbnb. Okay, he makes a good point about if you go to New York and you're trying to get a hotel, the hotel is going to be more expensive because Airbnb, again, the technology, people can list Airbnbs all over New York, and so there's like this limitless supply of places that you can do an Airbnb in New York, and of course the prices are going to go down when you have more abundance. Okay, so I could go on and on. I'll give one more example. The iPhone. Probably the best example of all is the iPhone, right? Jeff Booth talks about in 1988, he got, as a gift, he got his first cell phone, like a Motorola 8000, right? It was like this big brick with a long antenna. He says it cost him like $2,000. That's how much it cost. 30-minute talk time, and you had to recharge. No texting, no data, no apps. And his cell phone bill, $1,200, which was just a ridiculous amount of money, right? But he still loved it. He still was like, man, this is the future. So what have we seen? How have we seen the deflationary effects of technology since that time? Well, now, you guys remember the flip phones, and then you remember the smartphones. And instead of having to buy a camera, I have a camera. Instead of having to buy a guitar tuner, I have a guitar tuner on an app. Instead of having to look at Google Maps, actually buying a map, I can just get Google Maps on my phone, right? I think you get the point. Things become more abundant and the prices come down. Now, why am I just really drilling that in your head that things become abundant and the prices come down? Because we have two forces against each other. We have team inflation and team deflation. Who do we have on team inflation? Well, central banks and the governments. They're trying to keep things afloat. We have lived in the inflation era for decades. It's all that I've ever known. It's all my parents have ever known. And it hasn't been all bad. As you know, people with a $10,000 house in 1960 is like a $300,000 house now. We could give a ton of examples of how many people have benefited from it. But we are entering the deflationary era, right? And think about your crypto assets. They're deflationary, right? So they fit into this new deflation world. So what happens? Well, all of a sudden, we have efficiency and lower costs, and jobs are eliminated. Now, this doesn't mean that deflation is terrible. It's neither good nor bad. It's adjusting to the times. You either adjust or you get wrecked, right? That's how it works. That's why I'm trying to get so many people to discover this crypto thing, because they're going to get wrecked financially if they don't adapt and learn what's coming. So, my thoughts. Okay, let's come back to the main point. I told you these two forces, right? Central banks and governments with inflation, and then we have the powerful effects of technology, which is deflationary. Which one's going to win out? Well, it's obvious that we're going to experience both. No fiat currency has ever survived in the history of mankind, and our dollar is becoming less and less valuable, right? But we can't time things, so we just don't know. The timing is the hardest thing, but we know that eventually, according to Jeff Booth, and I agree with him, we will be living in a deflationary economy at some point where technology will take over. Just like I talked about with Google and Amazon and YouTube, and these all eliminated jobs, but we celebrate them because they make our lives more easier and abundance, right? Now, I mean, think about the self-driving car. How much of the economy is people driving in cars? I think it was like 3-4% or something. Some crazy number of like 4 million people will be out of a job when self-driving cars come into full effect. Now, don't quote me on that exact number, but you get the point. So I want to make the point that we got to prepare for this deflationary economy. We can't get just so focused and myopic of what's in front of us. We got to start thinking like macro investors and think years down the road. What is going to happen with the economy? And if we're living in a deflationary economy and prices are going down and jobs are being eliminated, then you're going to have to adjust and find out how to create value in this new world. Instead of oh, I just want money from the government and for them to take care of me, which may happen. We may have universal basic income for a bit down the road, but then hyperinflation is getting closer. So at some point, you're going to have to adapt and learn how to create value in this new deflationary technology world. So I hope that you enjoyed this little breakdown. I would really suggest that if you don't know deflation very well, that you check the videos below. And please like and subscribe. I started a new charity on my channel where 100% of the profits my channel gets is going to go to human trafficking, fighting that cause. And I'm going to put it into a crypto fund and just let it accumulate over time. And so if you wouldn't mind subscribing, I need to get up to 1,000 subscribers so I can start doing that. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you later. Bye.